What's up, everybody? Welcome to this video. This one, I went through a field workout with Tyler and Julia from the DC Shadow. So this is a professional ultimate Frisbee field workout. I just wanted to kind of walk you guys through it, what we did, why we did it, and maybe there's some takeaways that you can get here. So after some just regular stretching, dynamic mobility type stuff, we went into a regular dynamic warm-up. So you could see some high knees, some straight leg stuff there, and then going into some skips for distance. I really like skips for distance before any type of sprinting type work. Next, we get into some sprint mechanics drills. So you can see these are a bit different because we have something held overhead, a stick and a disc. What this does is it makes it so your lower back wants to extend and forces your core to work a bit harder to stop that. Now, I think a lot of people think of sprint mechanics drills as something like, oh, this is how you should be running. So make sure you think about this the next time you sprint. But instead, I think of drills like this as just core training while moving fast. So the difficulty isn't coming from heavy weights or a bunch of reps that are going to cause a burn, but instead it's about the core being able to control the spine and pelvis while being synced up with the movement of the hips. And that idea of being able to control the spine and pelvis during faster athletic movements is really, really important. So I think drills like this can be a great way to introduce that, or as part of a warm-up like we're doing here. Next, we get into a bit of footwork and change of direction drills. I like these at the beginning of a workout just to work on a lot of the different varied positions and angles our body can get into. I also think it's just a nice warm up to start to be springy and lighter on the feet before going into sprinting. And sprinting is just moving forward. So I think these lateral and backwards movements can start to quote unquote wake up the entirety of the muscle in a way which I think can be kind of nice too. Our first sprinting drill is this here where you have the stick on your shoulders, then punch it overhead once you get to the cone. The same idea is at play here. The stick being overhead makes it so that you want to overextend, so your core and other muscles are being forced to control the low back and pelvis while again moving fast. This is really working our top speed mechanics because once you punch that stick overhead, you get nice and upright and the stride starts to really open up too. We've been tied together with what's called a sprint float sprint. So they sprinted as fast as they could up to the cone. Once they hit the cone, then they're dropping speed down to 70, 80% and just floating. So working on being very relaxed, very upright, stride is long and light off the ground. So really trying to work on a lot of the things that we just tried to ingrain with the stick drill. And we don't really get this that much in Ultimate, so I think it's good to be able to work on that. In Ultimate, it's a lot of short start and stops. Even when you go deep, you only do that maybe a handful of times during a tournament. So work like this to really open up the stride, be light on the feet while moving super, super fast in your max sprinting or your top end sprinting can be really, really great. We then got into something I've been playing around with a lot recently that I'm calling twitch work, but essentially how quickly can you go from being relaxed to immediately turning it on and accelerating out. So in this drill here, we're starting up tall, nice and relaxed, dropping the disc, and that's kind of forcing the body to get low and you're trying to accelerate out of that. Not getting stuck in the mud or stuck in your cut, but being really, really quick from that transition of relaxed to getting out. You can see here, we're doing a sideways version, tossing out to the side, getting into a crossover step, and again, getting out super, super quick. I think this is great for improving your first step explosiveness or when you're changing direction, being able to get out of that cut a lot quicker. This next version, we add a reaction component. So both people are going to be pogo hopping. Like you can see here, this just forces you to stay relaxed. It's really hard to tense up and not be relaxed when you're doing these little pogo hops. So you're going to pogo hop forward, the defense is pogo hopping backwards, and then once the offense decides to go, that same idea of being relaxed immediately into a very fast and explosive first step. Then to take it a step further, we did that same thing into a mirror change of direction. So pogo hopping, that first step being super, super explosive and fast, immediately into a mirror change of direction between the two cones. The defense is just trying to mirror the offense, intentionally getting into their crossover steps. It would be a lot easier here to just shuffle and stay in front, but we're trying to work on hard cuts, crossover steps, flipping the hips. Now, this isn't specific to any situation in Ultimate. How you would actually play defense in Ultimate is completely different. And that is the point with this. With this, we were working on the athleticism side of things. So not the skill, IQ, positioning, defense, all that stuff, right? We were just working purely on athleticism. So that first step, explosiveness, like we talked about, but then the agility, the ability to react and change direction well. All those things are athleticism for Ultimate, which are a separate thing from the skill, IQ, all that. And this is just a fun way, a drill that we can set up to be able to work on that. And lastly, one more mirror change of direction drill to finish. We did this a lot at the end, or I guess a higher volume of it at the end, because this stuff gets tiring. So we want to make sure that we save that for the end so we're not gassed going into anything else. So with this, we're in a box and the offense has the freedom to go in 360 degrees in any direction, and the defense has to directly mirror that. Again, it'd be a lot easier to shuffle but we're trying to intentionally have those strong crossovers, being able to flip the hips in any direction and react well, the athleticism side of things. You could see that I pulled the cones out every round that we went through. We opened up the box a little bit more. The more space you have, then the faster speed you can pick up into the cuts, the more directions that you can move. So we opened the box up each time just to make it a little bit more challenging. And overall, I thought this was a really great workout. Outside of vertical jump, I think we got pretty much all the athletic qualities that you would get in ultimate: speed, change of direction, moving in 360 degrees, all different angles, reaction, agility, that first step explosiveness. All those things are worked on in this workout, and I thought it was overall really great. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to leave them down there in the comments. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed this video.